Hello and welcome to the Shadow Mountain Publishing channels. We are really excited this morning to share a new product that is coming in less than 2 months. It's not that far away now. It's getting real close. It's a new cookbook, and we have the author of the book here with us today. We're going to talk about the book a little bit. But before we go into that, I just wanted to do like a basic, let's just introduce Elise Thomas to you. So Elise is the entrepreneur, an author, a speaker, and the creative force behind, and I knew my alarm was going to go off in the middle of that, behind Cookie Co. And it is I would imagine it's probably, I don't know, it's not been around for very long. So probably one of the fastest growing gourmet cookie companies that are out there in the United States. And then you started that in August 2020, which probably sounds really horrifying for everybody watching this, that you started a business in 2020 in the middle of all the crazy. And then 3 years later, you have continued to expand your business throughout the US. It is a cool story, and I'm excited to hear more about that and how you got started, Elise. And it's good to know, you're still right in the middle of the day-to-day operations, and you run that with your husband, Matt, and have 4 children that keep you on your toes. So you can share more about that later if you want to. For those of you who are watching, Cookie Co. is you're in so many locations around the US. You're in California, Kansas, Missouri, Texas, Arizona, Tennessee, Utah, and there's one other place, South Dakota. Did I miss anywhere?
We're having one opening up in North Carolina this month, and we have one in Idaho, one opening up in also another one opening up in Twin Falls, Idaho. So
yeah, so you're expanding all over the place. This is so cool. It's really exciting. So there's a lot of locations. There's maybe one near you. If you have a location near you, please feel free to share it with us. We'd love to know if you have one near you. That's cool. And if you've had a cookie from Cookie Co, I haven't yet, but I'm very excited to. I'm going to be ordering some soon, so I'm really excited about that. So Elise, why don't you tell us, how did Cookie Co come to be?
Yeah, of course. Yeah, so I've always loved to bake since I was a little girl. It's something that I've always enjoyed. I've always loved to be in the kitchen with my mom, and my mom has always loved making cookies. She kind of always had a passion for it. She's a school teacher, and when she came home from work, she would always make cookies, and my friends would love to come over and eat cookies. And one of the things that she loved to do was give them to people. So when people are going through a hard time or, an exciting time, she would give cookies. And since I had always loved to bake, when I got married, had my daughter Abby, I kind of started the hunt for a really good chocolate chip cookie recipe. And over the years, perfected it. And I kind of also had that passion for making cookies, and it's my favorite dessert. So people all the time would be like, you should open up a bakery. And I thought that would be so much fun. And I thought one day I'll do that. And then finally I got to a point where in 2019 where I was like, I think that it's time now. And I felt like my kids were at a good kind of stage. And I felt impressed that I should open up a cookie bakery in my hometown, Redlands. And then obviously, pandemic happened. That was not planned, but we continued to move forward and were able to open in 2020 amid all of the chaos that was going on in the world. But I always just wanted something that I feel like we live in a world now where both mom and dad or whoever is in the household, everyone has to work. So we live, in a place where people have to work. And I think that not as many people bake as they want to. And so I was on the search for a gourmet cookie out there, and I just never found one that was really up to par. And so my goal initially to start my bakery was to have gourmet cookies that people could take to people in time of need, for baby showers, for weddings, for, all the fun things, and also things for when people are going through hard times. And so that was kind of my initial goal. I'm doing this. And we always say our cookies taste homemade because they are homemade. So, we use real eggs, real butter, real sugar, and we don't chintz on the real stuff. So
That's awesome. That's awesome. And in fact, here is the cookbook. I've got a copy
yeah,
right here. It's beautiful, by the way. The chocolate chip cookie recipe that you're talking about is in here, and it's which I absolutely love because I feel like sometimes, when there's a cookbook or something that comes from somebody that has a store or a bakery, whatever, that you're used to going to, some of those hot ticket items are not
yeah,
included in there because it's like top secret, right? And so that's really awesome, Elise, that you've included that. I absolutely love it. And I think it might even be the first thing in there. In fact, we'll talk about the cookbook a little bit more in the end, but when it's called Lisa's Home Kitchen, Eat Dessert First. Literally the desserts come first, which is kind of fun because most cookbooks, I feel like, because we eat dessert last, usually
yeah.
in a meal, that they come towards the end of the cookbook, but these are right at the beginning, and that's really, really fun. And I think even that chocolate chip cookie recipe might be the first thing in there, so that's exciting. Well, that's cool. I love it. What inspired you then? Because obviously it was 2020 was COVID-19 and pandemic. And so there was a lot of crazy for businesses during that time. They couldn't open and they couldn't get people in there. And obviously you're in California, and every place around the world treated the pandemic differently. I've got friends in the UK, and they weren't even allowed to leave their houses at times, or they couldn't travel out of town and things like that. Very much more restricted than some parts of the US, and then other parts of the US were very restricted. So it was very different kind of time. But I would have thought most people would have been very anxious about owning a business or running a business during that time. So what was that inspired you to be like, I'm just going to go for it. I'm going to do it.
Yeah, so we had already signed our lease in 2019, and we found this great spot that we wanted to turn. It was a commercial building, turn it into a bakery. And so we had kind of like already set up to do this, and we didn't know the first thing about doing a business like this, like doing a bakery. My husband was still working full time, and it was kind of just going to be my own thing. And then once like COVID happened and the shutdowns, um, honestly, at first we were like, I don't know what we're going to do, but we just like continued to move forward because we didn't really have any other options. Like I had already like invested all my money into this, and I had signed a lease. Like I still had to pay my lease. I think I had like 3 months free, and then I would have to start paying. So I was like, we don't really have an option. So we're just going to go all in. My husband ended up losing his job because he was in like a marketing startup company that he had just kind of started, and then like everyone stopped because everyone was nervous. They didn't know what was going to happen. A lot of people like pulled their marketing things, and so then he lost his job. So then I was like, oh my gosh, we don't have an income. We have this lease. We're going to open up this bakery. Like, what the heck are we going to do? So I actually started selling cookies from my house during COVID, like probably the beginning of 2020, January, started just doing orders from my home, and just started with an Instagram with 0 followers and just like bakery coming soon. Like had a picture of our bakery. And then as we were doing the build out, I would just started just doing like porch drop offs. Like people would come and tell me what they wanted, just like buy on a Venmo, and like tell me how many boxes they wanted. And then it slowly like kind of just grew into this thing where people were driving like an hour or 2 hours to come get their cookie box from my garage. And there was a point where I was literally baking until like 5 a.m. in the morning to get people their cookies every day. And I was homeschooling because in California, it was very strict. Like we did not have, my kids didn't go to school. So we were doing the homeschool thing. And so I would be teaching my kids until like 2. I'd start baking, and then I would put out their cookies with their names on it, and people would come get their boxes. And it kind of blew up into this thing, which I'm very grateful for. So we were able to, survive that time period of our life. And then we just continued forward, and finally we're able to opened up in August 2020 and had all the regulations. We kind of had to pivot our plan a little bit. At first, I wanted it to be like a big group of people could come and sit and like, you know, eat their cookies, drink their sodas and all that kind of stuff. And then we kind of just went strictly to like to go only to like do along the lines of the regulations at the time, and did the whole 6 feet apart thing, the mask, all of it. And luckily, like our community was so like just welcoming and just really supported us and has continued to support us. So I just feel really blessed that we were able to just like get through that crazy time period.
Yeah, that's awesome. There's nothing better than a community rallying to help, isn't it? And that's fantastic. So well done. Like congratulations, hats off for like working through all of that. You know, you're already there having to, you know, committed to doing it and had to follow through. That's awesome. So I wanted to talk a little bit about the cookbook and the inspiration really behind, you know, you're obviously successfully running your cookie co company. But what was it that kind of led you to, I really want to write a cookbook? I mean, is it something that came from you, or did other people like push, hey, we need more recipes from you, Elise? Because here's the deal, it's a cookie company, but this cookbook isn't just cookies. It's a lot
Yeah.
more than that. So why don't you tell us a bit about that?
Yeah. So I've always loved to be in the kitchen, like I've said. And when I first kind of like started like doing an Instagram page, like I would post like recipes and stuff on there. Because I felt like sometimes you go online and you see like these big like recipes that are just so confusing and just crazy. And as a mom, sometimes you just like need simple, good homemade meals. And so I kind of like started posting like recipes, and people would always be like, I love your recipes. They're so good and they're easy. And so that kind of started that probably like 7 or 8 years ago. I started posting just like little recipes here and there and just like mom life. And my husband really was like pushing me, like, he's like, you really should think about doing a cookbook. And I'm like, yes, I want to. But I knew it was going to be a lot of work. So I was like, I don't know if I have time. And then finally I was just like, you know what? I just got to do it. Like, I just need to do it and get all my recipes together. Some of the recipes are family recipes that like have just been passed along, like from my grandma or my mom, or one in there is my uncle's mashed potatoes that are just like everyone loves and raves about. So I thought it would just be so great to just have like everything in one place. They're just easy family recipes that you can just like do every night, just something new, because I like my mom always showed love through cooking, and that's something that I have continued on to do. Is I just love to show people, I love to host people, and I love to show my children I love them through cooking homemade meals for them. So there's a lot of my kids' favorite recipes in there, which are great. And of course, desserts, because I'm a huge dessert person.
So I'm pulling this up just as
Yeah.
this is just one of the pages, just because
Yeah.
you mentioned it. It's hard to see behind our logo, but there's like a heart with like a little like thing shine on it. It says kids favorite behind that. And I love how that features in this book. So as you're talking about your others, I just wanted to show everybody just an example of what, you know, an interior page looks like. And you're right, this is such a simple format to follow, you know.
Yeah, so simple. And like this one is Abby's. It's my daughter. It's a funfetti birthday cake. She loves to help me in the kitchen. And this is a birthday cake, simple cake that you can make that tastes delicious, and your children can help you make it. And that's the thing I like. I feel like cooking and baking should all be about the memories. And so I like to do things with my kids. Even if it doesn't turn out perfect, it doesn't matter, because like your children will remember that, and
Yeah,
they'll love to do it.
for sure.
So yeah.
Yeah. I love that you have like how many people it will feed, and also like a rough time. Is this a start to finish? Like if I wanted to make this cake today, it would take me about 70 minutes.
Yeah, definitely.
That's
Yeah.
awesome. That's awesome. I love it. So that's just an example there. There's so many good recipes. I was looking through it over, well, it was earlier this week. I was having a look through it, and there's one that I came across that I just can't wait to try. And it's this, I don't know if I've ever had this before. It's this French toast roll-ups. I don't know if everyone can see. I'm going to move this across this
Oh
way.
yeah, they're so good.
I kind of was flipping through and I thought, what is that?
Yeah, my husband is always like, "Can you please make those? Can you please make those?"
There's a sticky note in there, which is what I do with my
Yeah,
books. I'm like,
really fun for Mother's Day, like a brunch,
yeah,
a bridal shower, or if you're hosting something like unique and delicious and very easy.
yeah, yeah. I mean, I don't know if mine will come out looking as great as yours, but I think, and but it looks delicious, and I think that's the main thing, right?
Hmm.
Parker can't like make it look so great. I mean, I do love baking though and cooking, so cookbooks are my thing. So I'm very
Yeah.
excited about it. Well, that's fantastic. Let's see. So there's some things I've seen in there that I don't know what my favorites are going to be yet because I've not tried them, but there's one that I want to do. What are some of your favorites in this
Yeah.
cookbook that you
So some of my favorites are the baked French toast casserole. That is like a family favorite, and I recommend for like holidays, Mother's Day, Easter. I feel like it's so good. It's so simple, and it feeds a ton of people, and it's delicious. I also have in there another breakfast casserole. I love casseroles, like especially breakfast casseroles. So like I have another tater tot breakfast casserole in there that is so easy. I have friends that always use that recipe, and one of my friends is like, "This fed like 15 people, and it only cost me like $10 to make it." And I'm like, and it's so good. So I have things like that. I have some really fun desserts. I have a brownie recipe in there that is the best brownie recipe you can find. You will never eat another box brownie after you find this recipe and make it. And some people love their box recipes, like love the box kind.
yeah.
And I did a cooking class at my house, and I showed people how to do this brownie recipe. And this one lady was like, "I don't know, like I really love a good box brownie." I was like, "I promise you try this, you will never buy another box brownie." And then she tried it. She's like, "Oh my gosh, yeah, this is really good." So it's funny. But yeah, like sandwiches, there's a really good, simple pesto panini sandwich in there that is so delicious and really easy and can impress guests and is simple. So those are just a few of my kind of favorite ones.
Nice. There's a lot of options. There's over 100 recipes in there, you guys. So there is a lot to choose from, and and I think most people out there, even people who do love to bake. I mean, if someone's saying these are easy to do recipes, most people are going to jump all over that. I know certainly I do. Even though I love cooking, and like you said, everyone is so busy these days. Like
Yeah.
everybody's working because of all of the things that we're dealing with, and it's like we do need fast meals, fast cooking that tastes good and it's
Yes.
good for you as well. So I did want to say we're going to do a giveaway. This book isn't out until the beginning of April. It is not available until then, but we do have some copies, and so we're going to give 2 copies away from this video. And so in the comments, we just want you to tell us what your favorite cookie flavor is. And the most, I don't know, you're not gonna win because you give us a really unique flavor, but I'm really intrigued if anybody has like something really cool that they've tried with cookie. And so yeah, just share your favorite cookie with us. And if you want to share the giveaway with a friend, just go ahead and do that as well. But we will pick the winner probably on Tuesday, but it will end on Monday at midnight. So get all of your cookie flavors dropped in the comments so you can enter to win a copy of Elise's Home Kitchen Eat Dessert First. I just wanted to drop this up again, which is how people can find you, Elise. This is your website, and also, and you ship. So it really doesn't matter where you live in the United States, right? You could try.
Yeah, we ship nationwide.
Yeah.
So
And then you're also on Instagram there at Cookie Co. I'm just trying to think. Oh, yeah. So it's available on Amazon right now. You can pre-order the book. And also, it's like I said, it's going to be available in April as well. So I'm excited. I know Elise is probably super excited for this book to get out there, and it's beautiful. So look out for it, pre-order, look for a copy. And if you live near a cookie co, go get some cookies today. And she and I were talking about how Valentine's yesterday was just crazy. It's been crazy busy with it being a holiday, but there's probably lots of cookies available today, not so many crowds, and so this is a good time to go.
Definitely.
Awesome. So thanks for being with us, Elise. We really appreciate it.
Yes, thanks for having me.
For the cookbook.